Today I'm going to be changing the oil on my 2012 Land Rover LR4 HSE. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to remove this cover. It's pretty easy to do. All you do is you basically just lift up and pull to the front, and you'll see these two little cutouts here and come out of two little rubber castings back there. And then also in here there's these, when you're fitting it back, these two little sockets here will fit over these two plastic posts on top of the engine. So pretty easy to get it out. Next thing that we'll be dealing with is the oil filter that you've got to remove. The oil filter sits here, nicely accessible from the top. And then also we will be using the oil filler to evacuate the oil out. These Land Rovers do not have a drain plug. This engine, this V8, does not have a drain plug. So you actually evacuate the oil from the top. Makes it nice and easy. Keeps your hands a lot cleaner than crawling around on the floor underneath the car. So let's get to it. Okay, so step one involves just loosening the oil filter cover, just so that it can drain all of the oil that's up in here, just so that it can drain it down. So the specs on this, on the wrench for this, are, I believe, like 89 millimeter flutes on this. So what I have is I have one of these. It's an expandable one, which actually fits multiple oil filters. So basically the idea is get it on there, get it fitting on, and then I have my torque wrench that I'll use to release it. The idea is turn this 4 times, 4 revolutions, just so that it can drain that oil. So let's see. Okay, there it starts going. That's 1. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Right, so next I got all my supplies ready. Got some rags. I've got my funnel to when I refill the oil. I've got my oil now. Land Rover they want a really special 5W20 expensive grade of oil. I figure I'm going to use this Mobile one. It should be fine. It's for high mileage engines. 5W20, so it's all good. I've got my replacement filter, which, I mean, it's just a Chinese filter, but it comes with the O-ring that goes in the filter cover. So make sure you don't damage that. Then I've also, this is my fluid extractor here. It's the MightyVac MV7201. Some cool features. So it basically sucks the oil out, or it can dispense as well. And you've just got to make sure your setting is correct. If you want to dispense, it's up, but if you want to evacuate fluids, then it's down. It's also got a quick release connector here, so that you can connect the pipe on there. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this, we're going to use the thick pipe, and that comes with the unit, and then on the end we're going to use one of these rubber grommets that basically you'll see when we get to connecting this up. This actually matches with the under the oil filler cap. Actually has a pipe that this will match up to, and it'll suck all the oil right out from the bottom of the engine. So pretty cool. So it's got a pressure relief valve here, which you obviously we need to close that before we start pumping. This will go on the ground next to the car. So let's get to it. So here's the oil filler cap, and if we take that off, you'll see, not sure if you can see, but basically right here there's a little pipe. Let's see if I can move the camera. There's a little pipe, and that's going to match up with the with that rubber grommet on the pump. So if you see I have that hole on the end of the grommet, that will basically match right up over there, slides down, and it's basically ready for pumping. So once again, make sure the pressure relief valve is closed. Make sure your quick fit connector is connected here. Make sure that the mode of the fluid evacuator is set to evacuate. And basically start giving this, you give it, they say between 10 to 12. I'll probably give it 12 pumps, and then we'll see. This looks nasty. But this should apparently take about 10 minutes, and you should see the pipe should run clear. Okay, the pipe is basically run clean. All the oil's in the tank now. Just be aware when all the oil comes out and this pipe's now basically sucking air, this thing shakes quite a lot. So make sure that the other end of this, where it goes in the oil filler cap, make sure that's pretty tight on there. Otherwise I could see that perhaps shaking loose, and I don't think that would be on a scale of 1 to 10, that wouldn't be great. So anyway, let's move on to the filter now. Okay, I have my bucket down here on the ground next to me, so that I can dump this in when it comes out. I'm not sure how much oil is going to be dripping off it, but let's take a look. I've got some rags here. This by now, of course, is you can hand loosen this. So let's take a look. There's no leaks so far. Anyway, let's get a rag here so that I can rest this on it. There's the old filter that comes out. Let's rest that there for now. And then what I want to do is just clean out in here. Yeah, okay. Of course, I don't want any contaminants falling in there into the engine. There is quite a bit of oil just sitting down in there. So let's see. Let me first get this cleaned up and then see if it's, yeah, let's see if I could just stuff this in there and try and suck up that oil. And this engine oil is pretty warm, by the way, at this stage. Yep, quite a lot. Yeah, there's still quite a bit in there, so I'll probably use a few more rags to try and suck that out. Get some more. Okay, we're getting there. I think just one last one to clean it and leave it in there while I'm preparing the filter. Just leave that in there for now. Okay. We also want to remove the old filter out of its housing. You basically just, there's a couple of tabs on top. Right on top there's those two tabs. They basically need to just unseat from inside here. Let's get rid of this. Filter doesn't look great. Probably should have done this a while ago. What I'm going to do is just clean up this now as well. Now there is this, let me just get another raglan here. So there is the old O-ring on here that I'm going to take off. Trying to take off without damaging it, just in case something happens to the new one. You are supposed to replace it though. So let me get a little flat screwdriver. Of course, a little flat screwdriver. And I'm going to just remove this. Try and not damage it. There you go. And I'll just clean this up a little more. So then, as I say, the filter does come with a new one. So what you want to do is just prepare all of these rubber seals and gaskets on the filter. Prepare them. Just rub a little clean oil on there, so that when they seat, there's a nice lubricant there, and it'll make a nice clean seal. So a little bit of clean oil just to lubricate that seal up, and then also some oil just to lubricate these two right at the top here, so that it fits nice and snugly inside. Then what we do is we take the filter, and you can see there are places where this will snap inside. There's little kind of cutouts on the filter here, so that it'll fit in where it's supposed to. Just make sure it goes in nice and straight, and then you click it. It basically seats itself pretty firmly in there. Okay, now we're going to make sure this fits down inside nice and straight, and then you're going to start turning. Make sure you don't cross thread anything here at this stage. So keep turning, making sure that it's not cross threaded. And when you tighten this, by the way, you'll see on the filter here it says 25 Newton meters torque that you're supposed to torque it to, which I believe is about, I think it's about 18 or 19 foot-pounds, but I've got my torque wrench set for Newton meters, so let's get that. So now I've basically got my funnel in. Now I need to put in, I believe it's like 8 liters is about 8.5 quarts, I believe. So I have 2 5-quart jugs here. I'm gonna try and put 8.5 in, and then we'll check on the. Now there's no dipstick with these Land Rovers. You have to use the internal, the electronic oil gauge, which we'll get to inside in a while. can see, perhaps you can see, I marked off here. I had 10 quarts, so I need to put in 8.5. So I marked it off 1.5 quarts from the bottom. That means I've got 8.5 quarts in the car. So let's go and check the electronic fuel gauge, or the electronic oil gauge. Okay, so what we do is you basically push the start button without the brake, and it'll go through its system checks, give you a few warnings about the hood being open, the front door being open, those kind of things. Alright, so now we can use the right arrow to get to the menu, go down to service menu, OK, down to oil level display, OK, and you can see we're right at the good oil level. Let's see. So we're all good. If you're going to take out my oil funnel, I'm going to put the oil filler cap in, and probably going to let the engine run for a few minutes, then come out and check for any leaks and so on, and check the oil level again. Other than that, I think we're complete.